Yeah, we might as well just get right into it. So I guess my first question is, how did you end up doing sex work in the first place?
So this was back so I graduated high school when I was 17, and I grew up in a single parent home, and my mom could barely afford for both of our living expenses. So it was one night I saw a late night TV commercial about a sugar dating website, and I checked it out. And like at first it just started harmless. Like I would just meet a few older men just for dates, but whenever they would offer, but I started going on to dates where they would offer me a lot more finances if we would take it further, aka like go to the hotel or whatever.
Yeah.
So obviously I needed the money, and not only for my tuition, but I mean just to like put food on the table, right? For me and my mom. Mom couldn't, like, we would have a few nights where we wouldn't even eat. My dad had no contact with this. It's just me, my mom, and my grandma sometimes. So I thought this was like a really good opportunity to make a lot of income fast, to not only go to college but provide for my mom.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. And yeah, so I lied about my age when I was 17. I said I was 18. And I just been doing it since I was 21. I'm 22 now, but I've been doing it since I was 21 for a few years. And it just started progressively getting worse. And I just hated it at the end.
Yeah. So, so did your mom know you were doing that, or did you keep it a secret?
No, nobody knew I was doing it, except like my friends that my friends that were also sex workers and escorts. They understood, but I didn't keep them around because their mindset was still around that industry. And I knew I didn't want to continue this, but they're just so sucked into it. I could tell it's just like, I don't want to compare it as an addiction, but it kind of is. Like, not the sex work in itself, but it's addicting to get a lot of money fast because, like, as an escort, you know how to get clients. You know your prices, and it's easy to raise them. So that's what the addiction is.
Yeah, it's just the money. It's not necessarily the job itself, but just how much money you can make.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Was anybody wondering where all of this money was coming from, or did you just kind of keep it hidden somehow?
So obviously, like, I kept my college account because that way the bank that I had wouldn't try to like charge me annually, right? So I kept my college account, and the cash that I would receive from escorting, I couldn't deposit it all because it's so much, right?
Wow.
So I would split it in half and deposit just half of it and then keep half of it cash. Yes, my mom, she would find my stash. She wouldn't ask me because I think she kind of knew. I didn't tell her what I was doing, but I think she kind of knew what I was doing, but she was just so in denial, like, oh, my daughter would never do this, you know?
Yeah.
So she would just kind of like brush it off and hope for the best.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be a really hard thing to deal with. Like, it would probably be pretty hard to confront your daughter about something like that, you know?
Yes, exactly. And I don't know. I think it would have just hurt her if she would have known. I still haven't told her, just because I'm well off now, but I mean, if you put yourself in my shoes or in anybody who's in this industry's shoes, then it just be kind of just irrelevant to bring it up if you're not even doing it anymore, you know?
Yeah, yeah, especially like you, because you kind of um like you don't look back on that as good times, you know? Like you've moved past it. You're a different person now. So that you're right. It would be irrelevant to kind of tie you to that still.
Yeah, it's not. I did personally. I didn't have a great experience, and but fellow sex workers and escorts might have good experiences. However, they just don't want to continue doing this. It's just so hard to get out of this cycle, you know? So that's what I aim to focus to break the cycle.
Yeah. So what's your opinion on sex work in general? Like would your ultimate goal be to completely eradicate sex work everywhere, or do you think you only want to get girls out that don't want to do it anymore? Like, are you fine with it if there are still women doing it and they're happy doing it, or do you just think it's bad all around?
Um, I think it'd be fine to just, if the women who are in it and who are content doing it, they're gonna do it regardless. So if they're, as long as they're comfortable doing it and they're safe about it, then I don't see a problem with it because they're gonna be doing it anyway. Just be safe about it, right?
Yeah.
So what I focus on is I want to help those people who are in this industry who have been doing it but only know that to do for income. Like they want to get out, but they don't know the first step into getting out without being financially dependent on it, right? So basically, like helping them with their steps forward into the life that they want without financially depending on going back to sex work.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think that's a good philosophy on it because I mean, you're right. The people that are in sex work and the people that are happy doing it, you're not going to change their mind no matter how hard you try. So it's really kind of a they're like there's no point to it, you know, because they would just do it anyway.
Exactly. So, like, all in the end, it's just basically up to them. I can't force you to quit. You're going to have to want to do it on your own. So, the first step into quitting, like initially wanting to quit, is like telling yourself and realizing that you want to quit. And you have to come into accountability with that, accountability with your actions, accountability with yourself. Everything that you are doing right now is nobody but your own fault. You're at
Yeah.
your own fault.
Yeah, I completely agree. Um, so with your story, um, how did it devolve into getting worse and worse? Because you said like at first it started out like it was kind of just going on dates, and then they would kind of ask for more, like they would offer you more money to do more things. So it just kind of progressively got worse from there, or like what happened?
So for me, first of all, the men that I saw were not attractive. So hence why they would pay for dates
Yeah.
and sex. So I would basically get high on opioids and take maybe like 5 shots just to like numb myself from my emotions and physically, and then just get the job done over with. So
Wow.
by taking these opioids, I personally started to get addicted to them. So I would find myself taking them like once every day, and I would wake up in the morning, not even eat breakfast really. I would just like drink a coffee, take an opioid, send a message, get a message, go meet, do the deal, and come back home. So
God.
it led, for me personally, it led to drug addiction, and I didn't really drink a lot of alcohol. I most depended on opioids to kind of get the job done. But having sex with these strangers that know nothing about me, that don't care about me, or my safety. I basically was just tunnel vision. I just saw the end result, which was the money, and that's all I focused on. Basically, I was just like, I will do anything. I would risk my life and I would risk my safety to get this money as long as I get it. And that was my personal experience. So I put myself into dangerous situations in drug addiction that led me into darkness. Basically, it led me to hating my life at the end. I lost a lot of weight. I was unhealthy. My hair was brittle and my ends broke and my skin was pale. I just hated life. And I found myself one time curled up in the shower after a session and I was just crying. And that was when I came into realization that I could no longer continue escorting. It was just ruining my life.
Yeah. Wow, that's horrible. I can't believe how horrible that is. Do you think that's how it is for most women in sex work? Do you
No.
think most of them hate it, or what do you think?
No, I think at least the people that I came across, about most of them didn't mind it, but they didn't necessarily like it. Most of them didn't like it. I mean, most of them didn't mind it, but they didn't like it. So the ones that hated it was just like maybe one or two people that I've spoken to. But other than that, most sex workers just don't mind it. They just see the finances with it. But I speak upon my personal experience, so this doesn't relate to all sex workers. And like I said before, there are those escorts and sex workers who have had nothing but only good experiences. They just need help, like trying to not be financially dependent on this industry no longer. They want to they want to turn a new chapter in their life to progress into something better, maybe learn a new skill set or something, just don't want to look back into this industry.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, in my opinion, the way that I look at sex work is I cannot imagine it being good or healthy for any women. Like you said, you would do these drugs because you were having sex with unattractive men that didn't really give a shit about you. And I would assume that's how it is for a lot of sex workers. Like, I've heard a lot of them have to do drugs. Like, even porn stars, they get addicted to drugs because they have to have sex with these people just as a career, So what's your opinion? Like, in my opinion, I really feel like it's detrimental to everybody. But do you think for some people it is okay? Or what do you think?
At least the people that I came across, they don't mind it. But I do see how you can say that it is detrimental. And it can be traumatizing for some people because, like how you said, like these porn stars and some other sex workers and escorts have to take these drugs and have to drink a lot of alcohol just to numb themselves, just to get the job done. Because sometimes they don't necessarily want to see a client, but that like it will only last for an hour, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that bad, but going through that, it's just what makes it so painful for some people. But not every sex worker and escort is like that. Some sex workers and escorts go through a screening process for their clients, which is really good because it makes it extra safe. Some of them only pick up clients who they're attracted to, which is awesome. But all the end result, it just depends. Everybody just looks at it as the same, which is the money, right?
Yeah.
So it just depends on what they're looking at.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I could see how for some people it could be, I guess, tolerable. I mean, like you said, not everybody has had your experience to where it was that horrible, I guess. But so I'm wondering What have you been doing to help people out of the sex work?
So I started a one-on-one online program, and those who are located in the same state, or if I'm abroad in the same region as I am, we can have these local meetups and discuss where we are and how we want to progress. So in my one-on-one coaching program, basically we go through these steps. The first one's obviously accountability, and we help you take your life or take sex workers and escorts life to the next level. So we set up a goal and we make out a plan on how to get there, what steps we need to take, and before that, we just cover the basics, like your mindset, your mentality, where you are right now, your current situation, and where you want to get at. And we just basically start off point blank, keep a clean state slate, and progress from there. So just like forming just like a new mindset and a new view, a new worldview, a new way of thinking, and then erasing your old character and drawing a new one. We want to build a new life without financially depending on sex work, because sex workers and escorts, most of the time, not everybody, but most of the time, their world revolves around this industry because that's how we make money. Yeah. So we want to avoid doing that. So we basically just start from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great in my opinion. It sounds like that could really help a lot of people, because I think that's really what people need. A lot of people just kind of feel stuck or trapped in their lives, and they kind of need that extra push to change,
Exactly. And they don't know, like most of the time, actually everybody that I come across don't know the first step into getting out. They don't know like how to turn the next chapter. They don't know what to do, They're just kind of like get stuck in this planning mode and this planning like, oh yeah, I'll plan to quit in next week. And then next week comes, okay, well, I'll plan, this came up, so I'll plan. So it's just excuse after excuse, but there's a cause, but there's no effect. You're not getting a result out of it. You're just stuck in this planning mode. So it's just like a cycle. We want to break that. So that's what we're focusing on.
Yeah. So I'm curious, with your journey out of sex work, did you have anybody to give you that initial push, or just any experience that just kind of made you step back and realize that, okay, this is the time I need to change?
I didn't have anybody to give me that initial push. I just realized that whenever I was at rock bottom, I hit rock bottom, and when I was like at an unhealthy weight, my skin was breaking out. I was pale, and I was sitting on the shower. So I basically came into realization that I needed to quit. But I knew I didn't want to transition into a 9-to-5. Nobody in this industry wants to work back to a 9-to-5 because you don't get anything in a 9-to-5. I'm not saying like offensively to be offensive or anything.
Yeah.
For those who are in a 9-to-5, but after being in this industry for so long, making the amount of money you've been making, obviously, why would you cut down your expenses and everything to go back into a normal life like that? So we necessarily don't focus on going back into a 9-to-5, but being independent in your own way. So that's what I was struggling with and coming into realization with when I was trying to quit. I didn't want to go back into a 9-to-5. So I was just trying to think like, okay, well, I can't do sex work, and I'm not going to go to a 9-to-5.
Yeah.
And I'm still in school. So what am I supposed to do? So then I came across, luckily, I came across my mentor. not going to list his name because I didn't ask him for permission, but I came across my mentor who guided me and helped me through like my mindset and basically developing into the person that I'm still aiming to become, a better person with a better life and a new future. So based on all the knowledge that I've learned from him and my experience and my research, I am implementing that into people who want help to quit.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And it's really amazing how you were able to do it kind of without an external push, kind of like what you're trying to do for these other women. You didn't have that. Are there any things that you learned or realized with yourself? Like any tips you could give people that don't have an external push that kind of need to change?
Don't wait until the last minute. Don't wait until you hit rock bottom. Don't be stuck in the planning mode, because if you wait, you're just going to keep waiting until life slaps you in the face. You're not going to move anywhere. You're not going to progress forward. You're not going to move back. You're just going to be stuck where you at for years on end. And if you want to better your life, then it is up to you to make that first step forward, make that first move forward. And if you're unhappy with your current situation, where you live at, what you eat, what you wear on a daily basis, what you do on a daily basis, the people who you see, the people who you surround yourself with, the location you're at, your vacation, whatever, where you are in life today is nobody's fault but your own. It is up for you to take action and form the life that you want, and try to see what steps you need to take to reach your goal into a better life and a better future for yourself. Because obviously it is not in this industry. This industry does provide financially really, really well. However, you could be doing something that you're passionate about for a lot more money than what you make as a sex worker or an escort.
Yeah,
without
and
having to see random people.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. There definitely are possibilities you could make more money and not have to do horrible things that you hate on a daily basis. So I'm curious, I was going to ask you, how much money are we talking? Like how much different is it than an average 9-to-5 job?
So like an average 9 to 5, you know this. I'm sure fellow Americans know this as well. So it just depends on what state you're in and what the average salary is. Like in Texas, it's like $768, something like that, which is nothing.
Yeah.
So in this industry, I'm just going to use myself as an example. Let me see. Yeah, I made a lot. I made a lot more than that. I think I really just like, it sounds like bragging, but I'm just really not trying to brag.
Yeah.
I made, I want to say like 11 times more than that.
Wow.
Than the 768 in this industry in an hour. So
wow.
That's why I say it's really hard for sex workers and escorts to like even have that thought like, oh, I have to go back to a 9-to-5 job. That's what we don't want to focus on, because you don't have to do that. You can do something you're passionate about. It could be anything, right?
Yeah.
So that's like a really hard thought, a really difficult thought to even think about working a 9-to-5.
Yeah. Yeah, that is really insane. So you guys are making almost 10 times I guess the minimum wage. And
yes.
That really is a lot of money. Like that's a lot of money even for someone with a high paying job, with a high paying 9-to-5.
Yes. So it's just like, it's not even possible once you're in this industry. It's not even possible to transition back. There's no way. You would go straight back into this industry. So
yeah.
not worth it.
So, you keep mentioning, like, one of the main ways you help people get out of this is it's almost like you kind of want them to find a purpose in their life. Like, you want them to find something that they can make a career out of, but that they would also enjoy doing at the same time, right?
Yes, exactly. Something more meaningful and fulfilling. Like sex work and escorting, at least when I was doing it, personal experience, I knew it was temporary. But my problem was when I was in it, it was how temporary is it? Because I kept planning on quitting, but I would find myself not to quit. So it was just temporary for me. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Anything. Just say it. It could be playing video games. It could be anything. And that's what a lot of people struggle with, because some people that I came across don't necessarily realize how much times have changed now. You know, You could be a fucking website developer and make more money than you did as a sex worker. You know, it could be anything.
Definitely. So, if you don't mind me asking, how many people have you helped get out of it so far, or are you still kind of getting this up and running?
So far I have helped 3, but that's because I just recently launched my program publicly. Like I want to say 3 months ago. Plus this move abroad set me back a lot. So I'm coming back, getting back on the page. I'm gonna launch a webinar soon and a master class once I get the ball rolling. So I'm gonna come back tomorrow, update a few things. But to answer your question, yeah, 3 so far. But I did come across a few people. I gave them free advice, which I don't mind. I love giving people advice and helping as much as I can.
Yeah.
But for those who want that push and that guidance and want a more hands-on experience and somebody who's lived through it, somebody who's accomplished, who's experienced this, gone through it, overcame it, and not only overcame it, but succeeded into something that they're passionate about, they can go through that too, you know?
Yeah.
So if they want that extra push and that more hands-on experience, then that's what I offer, an alternative.
Okay. And what is the name of this program?
Quit Escorting Program.
Okay. And so would that just be quitescortingprogram.com, or how could people find this?
So they can email me. I'm going to be creating video webinars. I'm creating it now. It's in process. I haven't launched it yet, but by the time I'm only accepting 5 people right now. It's going to be a small group. I'm going to focus on them. So once I get those 5 people, then they will have access to the videos, step-by-step guide. They'll have access to me, my cell phone number, and also the Quit Escorting Program online group chat. So if they have any questions or concerns, we can all talk amongst each other. They'll have contacted me. I'll be there 24/7, no problem. So, So whenever I'm only accepting 5 people for this online video program.
Okay.
Currently making it, but once I get that 5th person, then they will all have access to the online program for the videos and everything else listed. But so far, if they want to reach me, my email is quitescorting@gmail.com. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And type it in.
Awesome. Yeah, all of that sounds really great. So this program, you said it's going to be kind of one-on-one mentoring. Like, would it be through a video call or something, or are you recording videos that you're going to send out like on a weekly or monthly basis, or how is it going to work?
It's both. So it's a 6 to 8 week program, whichever is the easiest and the better suited for the person who signs up. 6 to 8 week program. I will be recording video tutorials, and I will be giving out like worksheets and workshops to do for the people, and as well as one-on-one mentoring and one-on-one coaching via Skype or over the phone once a week or twice a week, whichever is needed. If they have any questions or concerns, we have.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I think one of our network connections got kind of messed up or something.
I am so sorry. That was probably my connection. I'm staying in this like deep of Nice where the Wi-Fi cuts in and out, and I'm in like the best reception as I can be. I'm so sorry. What was the last thing that you heard?
You were talking about just kind of how the program works. Like you were saying, it's a 6 to 8 week program. You were telling everybody about how there's going to be one-on-one video calls and stuff like that. And then I think that was around the time it cut out.
Okay, so 6 to 8 week program, whichever is more comfortable and best suited for the person to progress forward. They'll have access to the group chat with all 5 members plus me. They'll have access to my phone, as well as the video tutorials and the workshops and the worksheets and the exercises. So I'll be making video tutorials. They'll have that for the 6 to 8 week program, as well as a one-on-one call once to 2 times per week for between 6 to 8 weeks. And that's the whole suit. So I'm only accepting 5 people. Once I get that 5th person, they'll have access to the entire program.
Awesome. Yeah, that all sounds great to me. So one thing that I've been kind of wondering is, what's your opinion on whether prostitution should be legalized or not? I know there's kind of a lot of conflicting views on it. Some people think it should be completely legal. Some people think it should stay the way it is. What's your opinion on that?
So I get asked this all the time, and I see both points of views. Personally, I think it should be legal only because it will always be under the table in America. There will always be somebody doing it, and there will always be people paying for sex, right?
Yeah.
And it's been around for years, for hundreds and hundreds of years. There's always going to be somebody doing it because that's just, it's easy, it's fast, simple, that's it. But if it's legalized, then that would ensure more safety laws and regulations for sex workers and for clients to go through. So all in all, I'm not really focused on the money or anything, but more importantly, the safety and the health for people who are participating in this industry.
Yeah, so the way that you think of it is basically these people, there's always going to be people doing it anyway, so they might as well do it as safe as they possibly could.
Exactly.
And it being legal would be more safe. I would assume it would be more safe because then you wouldn't have like people kidnapping people to be sex workers and stuff like that, you know?
For trafficking. Exactly.
Yeah, trafficking.
And we wouldn't have to worry about, like, let's say an escort gets violated while seeing a client. The escort is too scared to contact police because they're going to say, okay, well, what were y'all doing? You know?
Yeah.
So, things like that. So I think it should be legal.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm not exactly sure where I stand on it, but everything that you've said, like, it makes sense to me. I would definitely rather people be safe than keeping it illegal, and also, like, people not being able to go to police for things like that, you know? Do you think it ever will become legal or anytime soon?
That's a hard one. The last time I saw the news was right before I moved, so I want to say 3 months ago. I know there was a protest with trying to make the prostitution, sex work, escort industry legal, but I don't know what exactly, like, what they ensured within that protest. So I'm not up to date with it. I will look at it tomorrow. So I literally have no idea. So it's just up in the air right now. I think if it does become legal, it's definitely going to be a long time from now.
Yeah, definitely. Especially here in the U.S., I would assume a ton of people would not be down for prostitution to be legal,
Yeah, exactly. Especially with like a lot of religious people, extreme religious people. There's just so many reasons. There's so many things that come in between legalizing prostitution and not legalizing prostitution. So if it does become legal, it will definitely be like a long time from now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird thinking about that, because when the government makes things illegal, it doesn't really do much. Like, for example, with drugs. We have all of these drugs that are completely illegal on a federal level, like marijuana, for example. But there's definitely no shortage of people doing it out there.
Exactly. So, like, things aren't really, the government's not really helping, and there's just so many rules and regulations that just, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense, and I just think it should be legal. There will always be somebody doing it in the end. Just make it safe and healthy and bring benefits to those who are doing it, like healthcare or something, because some people can't afford it.
Yeah. Who knows? That might be a good idea. I can't say that I'm all for it, because I definitely don't think prostitution is a good thing. But from what you're saying, I think it would probably be better if it was legal, because then it would be more safe for the people doing it.
Well, yeah, I know both sides. I agree with some points and I disagree with some points on both sides, and I definitely understand why you don't think it's good. I totally get it, and I totally get why other people's like it should be illegal. However, like I said before, there will always be somebody doing it in the end. So make it legal to ensure the safety, regulations, and rules and health care for those who are participating in it.
Yeah. One of the arguments I've heard, it's kind of funny, for prostitution being legalized, is they say, or I'm not exactly sure how many people are behind this, but I've just heard it before. They say that maybe if prostitution was legalized, these incels wouldn't be like going out and shooting people, because then they could finally get laid. What's your opinion on that? Do you think it would actually help, or do you think it would stay the same?
I think that would stay the same. I don't think that comes into any necessarily relevance with prostitution. I mean, it can on some point, but these like crazy people who are like shooting up places, I think that like goes deeper into just getting laid. That's like more of like maybe they gone through some kind of past trauma, or maybe somebody at their school they don't like, or something at their building, or something just beyond just not having sex.
Yeah, definitely. And I was thinking, even if it was legalized and let's say they could finally like lose their virginity and have sex, they would still be pissed at the world, because then they would think, well, damn, the only way I was able to lose it was because I had to pay for it,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it goes beyond that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. So another thing I was kind of wondering is, what was your childhood like? Do you think your childhood impacted your decision in becoming a sex worker in any way, or do you think it just kind of happened?
I didn't have a bad experience in my childhood. My dad wasn't present, and of course, I always hear the stereotypical, "Oh, you have daddy issues," but that's not the case. I was brought up in a really well-off environment. Of course, it was just me and my mom. However, my grandparents also helped try to raise me, and no, I didn't have any traumatic experiences or anything. I was brought up healthy and fine. It just so happened that we weren't financially stable, and I wanted to go to university, and I saw this opportunity to make a lot of money in a short amount of time.
Yeah. So in your mind, the only way you were able to go to university would be through sex work, because it would be the only thing that would give you enough money, right? Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, other than, of course, student loans, but like in my mind, I was like, well, I don't want to be in debt. So
Yeah.
what else is there other than working long hours forever, right?
Yeah, definitely. And it's really insane how crippling the debt can be from universities. Like, there are people with $100,000 in debt, and they can just never pay it off their whole lives just because they went to college.
Exactly. And that's what people struggle with a lot. So that's why in my program I introduce doing something you're passionate about and making a lot more. That way you're not only in debt, but you can build yourself up to a higher degree, a higher level. Times are changing now. Like, nobody's, like, in my generation, at least, I don't want to sound like a young person, but in reality, things are changing, and you could make a lot of money without following society's rules. I mean, of course you have to follow certain laws and whatever, but you could make a lot of money. Like I said, build a website. Fucking, if you like to draw, you can make a lot of money doing that. Make a comic book. It could be anything you want to be.
Yeah.
And you can make a lot.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a huge problem that a lot of people really just assume that a 9 to 5 is just life. Like, that's just what you have to do. You just kind of have to get a job, work it until retirement, and then once you get retired, that's when you can kind of start living, But you're right. Really, you can do whatever you want. You could make a website. You could start a business. You could become an artist. There are all kinds of things, and people just don't give them credit because they think it would be impossible for them to make it that way, which it is. It is really hard, but it's still possible,
They're so they want to be comfortable. They say okay, well, if you go to school, get a degree, and work this corporate job, you're going to be fine because you're going to have income. You're going to have incoming cash flow annually.
Yeah.
So they're living a comfortable life. They're in their safety zone, whereas you don't have to work. You don't have to be in debt. You don't have to follow society's rules and regulations. You don't have to do that. You can fucking build an empire on something you love. You just have to build yourself up to that point. It's not going to happen overnight, but once you build yourself up and you start now rather than be stuck planning, you'll get there.
Yeah, I completely agree. One thing that, I don't know, this is kind of a weird thought, but something I've thought of regarding that is I completely agree that so many people can be starting businesses or doing something other than the classic 9 to 5. But I also start to worry that maybe we'll get to a point where there won't be any room for more businesses or any room for more people to do things other than 9 to 5s. Because, I mean, especially with music, for example, there are so many musicians out there and they're all trying to become famous, So it is really hard to come up through the cracks. Same with any business, but I definitely don't think it's impossible.
Exactly. And that's why you have to differentiate yourself from people who are just who are just trying to say they want to be an entrepreneur just to say they want to be an entrepreneur, you know? So if you devote yourself, you have the drive, you have the motivation, you have the creativity, you know you can do it, and you keep working on it. It's all consistency. And if you're consistent, then you find your flaws, you correct them, and that leverages you from your competitors, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So you need to differentiate yourself from these other people and say, hey, this is why you should come with me, because this is what I have to offer. Whereas this person, this other musician, he just posted off of SoundCloud and that's it, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree. But I also think it kind of goes deeper than all of this. You know, like money, I think a lot of people just need to realize that money isn't everything. It's okay to be doing something and not be making $100,000 a year or whatever your goal is. I really think the main thing people need to realize in life is that as long as you're happy doing what you love, then money should just be a byproduct of that. Money shouldn't be the ultimate goal.
Exactly. And it always, just like you said, it goes deeper than that, because sometimes people do believe in that, but sometimes it's the environment they surround themselves with. So let's say like if their parents say, well, you have to do this because it's comfortable, you know? So it could be the environment that they're surrounded by that kind of forms them to be money motivated. So it goes deeper than that too. So environment and the people, your surroundings, plays a big role into where you are in life.
Yeah, because really we're all grown up to believe that money is kind of the most important thing. Like money is what makes you a successful person, or what makes you not necessarily a good person, but we kind of place people's value on how much money they make, and it's pretty fucked up, you know?
Exactly. And people just need to come in terms with who will help me become the person I want to become versus who's here just to make me feel happy at a short time, you know? And that's the hardest part, is getting rid of those who won't leverage you into building into a better person versus keeping those who just make you feel happy, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree. It's so easy to feel stuck with our friends, with our family, with anybody, because like you said, some people really aren't there for you. They don't have your back. They don't want to see you become successful. But then there are other people that will support you all the way to do whatever you want to do. And those are really the people you need to keep in your life.
Exactly. See, it sounds like you have it all figured out. Just trying to help. Sometimes people just need that extra push or that guidance to move forward, and basically break it down step by step. It's just all in their environment. They just need that one little shed of light in darkness, and then they'll get better, you know?
Yeah, I really do believe that you could help a lot of people with your program. And I really hope this is able to go to a big audience. So maybe this could help some people as well. Just having people be exposed to the fact that you're out here able to help people.
That's the goal. This move definitely set me back, but like I said, I'm getting the ball rolling again, and getting up and going tomorrow, especially on the news with where that's going. But I'm super stoked about being your first guest on the podcast. I really hope it attracts a large audience, so you can have more people, more podcasts to present to them, and more topics. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you. I really hope it starts to gain traction as well, because I love doing this. I love long form conversation. I love hearing people's stories. And especially with yours, you want to help people. I think that's amazing. And especially you want to help people that feel stuck, like these people that feel stuck in sex work. And I think it would be really amazing for them to feel like they have a way out.
Oh, they do. They do. It's just they don't know where, like, to take the first step. They don't know what to do, which is where I come in. But
Yep, exactly.
This is repetitive, but it's true though. It's true.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's amazing that people will be able to have you to help them out of that. So I don't know. It kind of feels like this conversation is coming to an end. I'm not exactly sure what else to talk about, but I think it would be a good idea. Maybe just tell everybody one more time what your program is called, where they can contact you, just all of that.
Yeah. So my program is called Quit Escorting Program. It's a 6 to 8 week program, whichever is best suited for you. And so the program, basically, we focus on your current situation, what your desired situation is, and the steps to go by that. Basically, starting off at a clean slate, building up your mindset and your accountability, and kind of like developing into the character that you want to. So what this program is about, we're going to start molding you into the person you want to become and make sure to reach your goals. And not only that, but have this new worldview on things, like completely separate from your day-by-day society, what society sees. So you're going to be like completely apart from what the everyday average person sees. So I could go more into that. If you want to know more about what this program is, or if you're interested, you want to contact me, my email is quitescorting@gmail.com. I'll send it to you, and you'll have access. In this program, I'm only accepting 5 people, very limited, and like I said, 6 to 8 weeks, whichever. You'll have access to the video tutorials, my phone number. That way, if you have any questions or concerns, you could contact me. We will do a one-on-one video chat once or twice a week, whichever is best suited for you. And also a group link for all of the people who are in this program to discuss amongst each other about your struggles and advice and everything else. So you have access to all of those things in this program. Once I have that 5th person who signs up for this program, then I will send out the program, and you have access to all of these things all at once.
Awesome. Well, also I was wondering, are you planning on expanding the program anytime in the near future? Because you said it's very limited, only 5 people right now.
Yes, of course. I only say for right now, not say, but it's only 5 people right now because it's the first ever officially launched Quit Escorting Program with video tutorials and all of these worksheets, exercises, group chats, and my contact information. It has all of these tools that can come to benefit for you into not only being financially not being financially dependent on sex work, but turning a new chapter in life and molding yourself into the person you want to be. So you'll have access in all these tools in this program, step by step. Talk to me directly, through video chat, once or twice a week for 6 times to 8 times a week. Once or twice per week for 6 to 8 weeks. And yeah, you have all these tools. That's all right. My email.
And I was also going to ask, is there anywhere else people could contact you? Do you have a Facebook page or a Twitter, or anything else like that yet, or?
Yes, I will be sending you that. I'll send you that. I'll send you those links.
Okay, all right. I'll definitely put them in the description or send them out wherever I can. Well, it was awesome getting to talk with you, and I'm honored to have you as my first guest. It was great having you on the podcast, and I would love having you on again in the future.
I am honored to be here. I'm honored to be your first guest, and I'm super excited. And I am wishing you all of the success in your future and your podcast and your music career.
Thank you. You as well. I really hope this can gain traction, because I would love to see people be able to get out of sex work, because just hearing your story, I could imagine there are a lot others out there that are going through the same thing you went through, and that just, it really kills me to hear that. It's really horrible, you know?
It is. Yeah, it definitely is. But, I mean, I do plan on expanding. Like I said, just 5 people right now. But, I mean, first come, first serve. Those who are interested, I'm pretty sure I will be creating and developing and launching the second program linked to Quit Escorting, offering more positions for people who want to change. So that's in the future. But for now, focusing on only 5 people, very limited. Interested, please shoot me an email and we'll get the ball rolling.
Awesome. Well, it was great talking with you.
It was so good talking to you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Goodbye.